Welcome to AviatorDB News Briefing. Today is Tuesday, July 14th, 2026. Here are today's top stories. Flamingo Air grounded after fatal Cessna 402 crash kills 10 in Bahamas. Fatal weather encounter kills 2 aboard Beechcraft Baron near Waterloo ill. TezJet license revoked after MD-83 gear collapse triggers safety audit. NTSB no mechanical failure found in fatal Missouri skydiving crash. Now for the details. A Cessna 402, operated by Flamingo Air, crashed in North Andros, Bahamas, killing all 10 people on board. The aircraft had departed Linden-Pindling International Airport in Nassau and was en route to San Andros, the Bahamian Aircraft Accident Investigation Authority confirmed. While early reports indicated 1 survivor, the Bahamian Prime Minister later confirmed that individual had succumbed to injuries, bringing the final death toll to 10. The Bahamas Musicians and Entertainers Union said the victims included several musicians and a DJ. The Bahamian Ministry of Energy, Utilities, and Aviation suspended Flamingo Air's air operator certificate as a precautionary safety measure after 2 separate incidents on the same day. In addition to the fatal crash, a second Flamingo Air aircraft returned to Nassau after the pilot reported an onboard concern. The plane caught fire after landing, though all passengers had already deplaned. Minister JoBeth Colby Davis cited both events in announcing the grounding. Flamingo Air confirmed the fatal accident and said the airline is cooperating fully with investigators. The Aircraft Accident Investigation Authority is conducting a formal inquiry to determine the cause of the crash. No timeline for lifting the suspension has been announced. A Beechcraft Baron 55, registered N202DK, crashed near Waterloo ill the night of July 9, 2026, killing both occupants. The victims were identified as Jimmy Don Lewis, 48, the pilot in command, and his son Braden Ty Lewis, 22. The aircraft departed St. Louis Regional Airport en route to Siloam Springs Arc. Preliminary radar data indicates the Baron turned into storm cells before entering a descending spiral, a profile consistent with in-flight loss of control in instrument meteorological conditions. Search and rescue teams using aerial thermal imaging located the wreckage at 7:40 a.m. the following day. Family members, citing a possible malfunction or delay in the aircraft's onboard weather tracking system, suggested a technical failure may have contributed. However, investigators have not verified that claim. The National Transportation Safety Board has opened a formal investigation into the probable cause. Loss of control accidents during adverse weather encounters remain a leading threat in general aviation. The AOPA Air Safety Institute has documented the heightened risk of spatial disorientation in IMC conditions, particularly during nighttime flight in multi-engine piston aircraft, such as the Baron 55. The State Civil Aviation Agency of the Kyrgyz Republic has revoked the operating license of domestic carrier TezJet, effective immediately, after an unscheduled safety audit uncovered what regulators described as gross violations of national aviation legislation that directly jeopardized flight safety. The agency said the findings left it no option but to annul the carrier's Air Operator Certificate, AOC. The audit was triggered by a July 7th incident at Manas International Airport, UCFM, in Bishkek, where a TezJet MD-83 suffered a main gear collapse while taxiing for departure on a flight to Osh. All 181 people on board escaped without serious injury. Investigators found, however, that the audit's findings extended well beyond that single event, pointing to systemic failures across the carrier's operations rather than an isolated mechanical failure. In a broader enforcement response, the agency has ordered mandatory unscheduled safety audits for all remaining Kyrgyz airlines, warning that the strictest administrative measures will be applied to any operator found posing a threat to flight safety, regardless of market position. The crackdown comes as Kyrgyzstan works to preserve its standing following the recent removal of its certified carriers from the European Union's air safety list. The National Transportation Safety Board has released a preliminary report on the June 14, 2026 crash of a Pacific Aerospace 750XL skydiving aircraft near Butler Memorial Airport in Missouri that killed all 12 people on board, 1 pilot and 11 skydivers. Investigators found no evidence of pre-impact mechanical malfunctions or failures in any engine components. Analysis of the Pratt & Whitney Canada PT6A34 turboprop engine revealed internal contact signatures consistent with the engine producing power at the moment of impact. Fuel samples drawn from both the aircraft and the airport supply showed no signs of contamination, and investigators confirmed the aircraft was operating within prescribed weight and balance limits at takeoff. Security footage captured the aircraft lifting off from mid-runway before crashing approximately 300 yards away. Post-impact fire engulfed the wreckage. Because the 750XL is not required to carry a cockpit voice recorder or flight data recorder, investigators are relying on wreckage analysis and eyewitness accounts to reconstruct the sequence of events. The NTSB stressed that the preliminary report does not identify a probable cause, and a final report, which may examine operational factors and pilot technique, is expected within several months to a year. That's all we have for today. You can get the latest aviation news at aviatordb.com.